Good morning. Good morning. Just checking we are on here. Live, live, live. See if I can move this over. No, I'm on my laptop today rather than my phone. So it shows up a little differently. Facebook's changed a few things. How are you? It's Rebecca Thompson here. If you don't know me or if you are new to being friends with me or following this for whatever reason this is showing up for you, I work with women to help them live better, to help them gain mastery over themselves, their health, their vitality, their worth, their relationships, connected and empowered and be seen and heard the way they want, and their mission so that you can show up and create the impact that you want without burning out. And so I wanted to share with you today why being brilliant without burnout takes more than just changing your mindset. Yeah. And I would love to hear your comments as we go along. So if you have just jumped on, I see we've got a couple of people joining us this morning. I don't get to see your names here now on my laptop. So just pop down who's watching and where you're watching from. And as we're going along, do you feel like being brilliant without is just changing your mindset? Because a lot of people out there teaching mindset work, and that's fantastic and that's great. But for many people, it's not just about mindset. And it is about mindset, right? But here's the thing. How does your burnout, how do your struggles, how does your fatigue, how do your worries, your concerns, whatever the struggle is, how does that manifest? And where does that go to down this kind of train of manifestation? Because it's not just about the thoughts. And I know that you are not just your thoughts, because you are your physical body, you are your emotion, you are your energy. So why do we feel that we don't have to change any of that? All right, so I've created this thing called holistic-kinetics, which looks at the interweaving of all of these different aspects. And I want to just explain, not that whole program, but why this is so important. Because input comes to you, yeah? Input might come to you through the physical body. You might literally trip over and hurt yourself. Input comes to you through your thoughts and your experiences, based on past experiences usually. Input comes at you energetically. And it's the processing of all these different inputs that creates the output. Yeah, and I'm sure you understand that how you feel is who you are, but it's not just what you are thinking, it's how you are feeling emotionally, it's how you're feeling and presenting in a physical body that also creates the energy around you and attracts what you want or what you don't want. So when we are looking at shifting things, we can, let's see if I can see, there we go. For some reason my comments aren't coming up on here. I can see that there is a comment, so forgive me if there's comments coming up. So when we are shifting things, we need to do it more than just on the mindset, because you've been living for a while. I'm guessing, if you're watching this, you've been living for a while. So those thoughts that you've been creating, those thoughts that you've been thinking that haven't been serving you, because you've been stuck in the doubt, the confusion, the self-worth, that it's impossible, or I'm hurting, or the blame, or the shoulds, and all of these different thoughts have started to embed themselves on a grosser level. Because they start as thoughts, but the more that you keep repeating those thoughts of, oh, I'm not enough, or this is too hard, or I have to do this, or I should do that, or I'm fearful of that, or I'm anxious about this, the more you do that, the more that vibration gets denser and denser and comes to sit more and more in the physical realm, until we end up with physical dis-ease, emotional dis-ease. And once they have embedded on those levels, we need to start looking on those levels if we want to shift things on a quicker way. If we just deal with mindset, it's going to take us a damn long time to really shift some of this physical and emotional and energetic change that has happened from continuously grooving mental patterns and emotional patterns and then physical patterns. Because the stress and the lack of coherence that is happening from your soul and your mind and your body is creating this discordance, which gets then stuck in your physical body, and then it helps perpetuate those thoughts that aren't helping. Does that make sense? So as those thoughts that aren't helpful for you create emotions that are not helpful for you, create physical sensations and lock in physical patterns and restrictions and obstacles in you, they all start feeding each other, because then your body doesn't feel so great, or there's just a digestion issue that's not happening, or there's physical pain, or you're just feeling more lethargic. So that now starts to feed the emotion, which feeds the thoughts that you're not all that, you're not where you want to be. There's more confusion, there's more lack of faith in the soul nature of who you are and your capacity. Yeah, there's more desires and wants that you aren't backed up by beliefs. You don't think or feel that you can achieve that because ABC is going on in your body, your emotion, your mind. Can you see how it all just feeds itself? It all feeds itself into kind of like a downward spiral, into downward kind of vortex of pain and struggle. So just telling ourselves to think differently, to shift that mindset, is sometimes not enough, because your body is in resistance to saying, I can't be on board with that. My body doesn't believe that. My emotion doesn't believe that. My mind wants to believe that. My soul believes that. But right now I have a physical manifestation and some emotion that's telling me I'm not that. So there's still resistance in the field. So the more times you try and tell yourself you're that, you're just actually building up the resistance because you don't feel that you are that. So holistic kinetics and the work that I do in my programs is all around embodiment work. How do we release and reduce resistance in the field to that which you want, to that which your soul knows and your mind on some level knows is possible for you, because you are potentiality, because you are infinite possibilities, because you are the creator of your own reality. We need to reduce resistance in the field in your physical body, and different tools and practices and ways of doing that, so that you can increase your receptivity for that which you want to bring in, so that you are not in resistance to it in your physical body. It's not saying no. And we need to unpack and dissolve the emotional attachments and the emotional triggering and the emotional reactivity that has become a pattern for you, even though you don't want to. And some of it's subconscious, and some of it you're aware around and can't help it, and some of it you've cleared. But as if there is that reactivity and resistance still in the field, then you still have that there, right? That is still part of that resistance. So again, we need to work on that emotional mobility to be able to reduce resistance in the field, so that you can hold the emotion of that which you want to create, even if it's for a short period of time. And the more you get to do that, the more you build this capacity for what you want. You can hold that energy to attract that which you want. And then we need to look at the mind and the stories and what's going on in there, and how that is still perpetuating what you don't want rather than what you do want. But if there is resistance in the field, and if we try to go too far, too fast, we're just going to hit resistance. We need to go slowly. We need to go to that which we can hold. It's like saying you can't go from a non-runner to a 100-meter sprint, right? You can't go from feeling depressed to super like orgasmically brilliant and joyful and ecstatic. It's just too far a leap. You wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't expect going from, a someone who's just starting up their own business right from scratch to being a millionaire overnight. You just can't take that big leap. It's too big a stretch. So you have to go something that feels a little closer, that you can open into, that you can receive, that you can accept, because your belief has to align with your desire, and the resistance has to be nowhere in your field. That's why the belief has to align with your desire, because if you don't believe it, there's resistance in your field. And if you believe it, you can receive it, you can accept it. But your body has to believe it, it has to be open to receive that. Your emotion has to be mobile enough that you can actually open to receive that. And your mindset has to be open enough that you can receive that and be on board with that. And your energetics have to be saying that is possible for you, and you're not contracting around that, and you're not leaking out around that. So there's all these different aspects that we look at. And if you look at all of that together, then you get the massive, massive, massive shifts, one after another, after another, after another, in how you show up in your joy, your vitality, your worth, your relationships, and how you show up and how you are magnetic and successful in your business. All right. And what I find is so many people are just working on one aspect, They're working on their physical stuff, or they're working on their energetics, or they're just working on their mindset. And the much faster path is to work on all of them and to understand this holistic kinetics, the dynamic of the interweaving between all of them, so that you can reduce resistance and be that which you wish to attract. Feel the way that you need to feel in order to attract more things that make you feel that way. Yeah. And so if this is something that you're like, yes, I need some help with that. I can't get my mind on board, because we can't always get the mind on board. We know what we want and we know how we need to think, but there's so much resistance in our physical body, or there's resistance in our energetics, and we don't even know that sometimes because we're so used to being us. It just feels normal, right? Because we haven't trained ourselves to truly feel, because we're scared of feeling and what that might mean, and failure, and opening ourselves up to vulnerability. There's so much there. Right? There's so much there that sometimes we just can't even see it. And the first part is seeing clearly and being vulnerable enough to ask for help and to get the support, so someone can show that to you and work with you in that way, so you can lower that resistance and you can feel it and you can see it and you can actually then play with it until you can feel it, see it, have the tools to work with it. You can't hold it. You don't know what that resistance is so many times, so often. There's so many layers that we've accumulated over our lifetime that it becomes like we become a little blinkered to actually what was the root cause of some of these things. How do we peel off those layers? I totally get that, because I've been on this journey for like 30 years of working with people and refining as I go along. And I'm in my most expansive and magnetic and creative state ever. But there are still things that come up as new blind spots for me that I need some assistance around seeing. That's just how it is, because we are consistently growing or stagnating or dying. And I know if you're watching this and you're following me, you're probably wanting to be growing. And we need to be seeing these blind spots all the time in different aspects of us. It's not just how we are thinking. It is all the other stuff that's accumulated over the years in this physical self and this human body and this human experience that we need to be unpacking and see more clearly to lower resistance, not just to get into the story. In order to lower resistance, you've got to hold the energy of that which we want to be. The energy, the physicality, the mindset, all of it. So if that is something that you would really love to dig deeper into, then do reach out to me. I have a few discovery calls out on my website that you can check into to have a chat with me about our programs. We have a half-day event coming up in Bribie Island in May and back in Brisbane in June. So if you would love some more info, either on having a chat with me or on one of those half-day events, then PM me or just pop a message in the link below going, please send me some information, or connect with me and we will get it together. All right, so reach out and I will reach out back to you, and let's get this happening. Let's get some shifts happening, right? We need more now than ever people to be in their unwavering soul self-presence, out of all the resistance, out of the fear, out of the stories, on every level, to up-level not just you, but your community and the planet. That's the call. If you're feeling that call, then reach out and let's help you get there. All right, my lovelies, have an amazing day. Take care, and I'll see you next time.